Guys, it's been a while since I popped on here and said what's up. A long while. And let me tell you something. Let's just talk about work, right? I have all these different things to talk about, but I've got plenty of days to do it. Let's talk about work. Work is kicking my ass, okay? I'm a month and a half deep. I got the bare bones training that I could possibly get, and I've been afraid to talk about all this stuff too for some reason, just because I've been so frustrated in my own head. I got the bare bones training, right, that I could possibly get off the rip, and I've been drip fed training as I've been going along, and I was pissed off. I was really mad. I was really frustrated, and I was in my head and all this different stuff with work, right? I was mad at my boss and all this stuff. He wants the best for me. We'll get into that too. But I was mad at him. I was mad at the whole Waste Connections merger thing with J&J Services, which happened. I was just like, man, I have had all this stuff just locked in. I have all of our stuff working well, our hiring process working well, our website working well, and you know what? They tore it down and they made it really shitty. Our website is shitty. Our hiring process is shitty. All this different stuff is shitty, right? It's really bad. I haven't cussed in a long time, by the way. Like, really just started ripping them. But I'm going to say a whole lot of words here. So, all this stuff has just been bad, right? The good news of all this stuff, we'll get through the bad, then we'll get into the good, okay? So, after all that happened, I am a month and a half deep of not selling anything. I'm not used to losing for that long in such a consistent period of time, right? Usually, I'll lose, I'll lose a few days, right? Or maybe a week, but not month and a half, right? A month and a half of losing is really hard on the brain. It's hard on the willpower, and you just start giving up. You really do, right? You start folding and just being so frustrated, and it's not good, guys. It's really not good. So let me get into the good and how this different stuff works, and then go from there. So good news. After all that stuff happened, and I was frustrated, this and that, I recognized that I needed to have some change. Right? I needed to stay consistent with what I was doing. Right? I was having bad days, good days, this and that, and just really lock in and just keep getting out there and trial and error. And that's what I did. I kept going out in the field, cold calling, right? Because I'm in sales. Cold calling, getting out there, talking to different customers, and just getting my foot in the door. And it was uncomfortable. And now it's not that bad, right? I'm not amazing at it by any means, right? I still have work to do when it comes to cold calling and just really being at least decent at what it is that needs to be done, and that's with the trial and error. Same thing with my boss, Greg, right? He's been working with me and just little steps at a time, and I had COVID one time, and then he had COVID, and then another girl had COVID, and we couldn't get together, which slowed down our training process. And a month and a half of me starting turned into 2 months until I could even start. And then I went on vacation, and then it was just like all these different things just kept building up, right? So I was like, Deb, you need to pull back and breathe, right? So I did, and I kept hammering out different customers and stuff, and that's what I've been doing for about the past month, right? Not wait for him. Activate, jump on, get on it, right? Sink or swim. And that's what I did. And I'm starting to swim a little bit, guys. I started to swim. There's a few different things that I'm not happy with that what happened. Him telling me that we can mark stuff at more of a discount after I've quoted a ton of customers, and him, telling me how some of these systems work. We can do no delivery fee if it's 6+ dumpsters I'm delivering, to really get it locked in and get these things on site. These different things and tricks and techniques that I'm learning as I'm putting out big bids for big projects, right? And he's just telling me this stuff, and I'm thinking, man, why didn't you tell me this crap as I'm actually doing it? Or beforehand, Dev, I'm quoting out a six dumpster job. How should I properly do this? He tells me after I get done quoting 20 of them, right? So I'm like, kick me in the nuts. Thank you. Thanks, Greg. Right? Frustrated. So anyway, that happened. And now, me and him have actually had time to get out. And he wants all of us to succeed, right? If we succeed, he succeeds. And that's good. That's what a boss should do, right? And he should help you. And that's what he's doing now. He's finally being able to help me out and get my foot in the door to these different places and go out with me to different places from his trips and my trips and all these different like collateral things that have been kind of merging together, because he takes care of our district and 2 other, I don't know if they're called districts or regions, or I think they're districts or zones or states or whatever. Not states. He takes care of 2 different state areas. Anyway. So, all that's been happening, right? And the good of all this is, like I said, stuff's coming together. I sold my first 3 things in the past 2 days. Thursday and Friday, I sold 3 things. It's been a month and a half. And they said, Dev, it'll all come together. It just takes time. And they're right, it does take time. It took a lot of patience from me and persistence. And I also found out that I put the most opportunities in, or leads, whatever you want to call it, basically people I've quoted out of the other like 7 different salespeople. And I was dumbfounded, because I'm taking break days where I'm just napping until 9 o'clock. I feel like I work for 2 or 3 hours, and then I'll take another hour and a half break or 2 hour break because I just want to walk the dogs and get some food somewhere, and I'll do that. And then I'll go work it again for a couple more hours and put bids in there. I didn't realize, like, obviously I still feel like I could be more efficient and be better at what I'm doing, and I'm still learning. But I think I'm slacking off. But in retrospect, I'm putting freaking work in, guys. And that's, between that and actually starting to sell things, it's starting to pay off. Right? And you know what? It feels freaking good. It feels freaking good that it's finally starting to pay off. All this stuff is starting to pay off. And I'm not frustrated with what's going on. And I'm starting to, be leveled. Now, I still don't think sales is a very sustainable... It's not a sustained income. It's very bursty sometimes, right? You may have some days where you get super burst and some that you don't. But here we are. I'm happy with what's going on. My dad's calling me. You guys have a great one today. Peace out.